In today's Jamaica magazine, we explore the many ways government is ensuring the good nutrition of our children. Welcome to the program. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Coming up,
Picnic can learn pa hungry belly.
government joins forces with Brazil to learn from that country's successful school feeding program. And while local authorities learn from the South Americans, we'll take a look at the system in place to adequately feed school children, including a healthier eating pilot project now underway. It promises to be an informative show full of wholesome goodness. So stay with us.
The Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH offers a wide range of benefits for students. Children on PATH are among the top achievers in the GSAT and CSEC examinations each year.
It gives me a sense of stability and it takes some stress off my parents because even though they're working and money might not be enough, it helps them to send me to school.
If your family is struggling, PATH might be the option for you. Just take your birth certificate and valid identification to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security office in your parish. For further information, visit the Ministry's website at www.mlss.gov.jm or call 1-888-991-PATH. That is 1-888-991-7284.
Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith and this is your GIS News for Tuesday, September 16. Newly installed Commissioner of Police Dr. Carl Williams has vowed to work with citizens in the fight against crime while stamping out corruption in the police force.
We will ensure that there is accountability at all levels in the JCF and our police officers will be held to the highest standards of integrity. Under my watch, the JCF will act decisively to remove any member who has chosen the path of corruption.
Dr. Williams was installed as Jamaica's 28th Police Commissioner Monday, replacing Acting Commissioner of Police Glenmore Hines. The new Police Commissioner has also pledged to protect the human rights of citizens and increase the professionalism in the force.
We must continue to use the force multipliers of technology and intelligence-led policing to make us more effective and efficient. But we must also be prepared to make changes in our way of thinking and our modus operandi. That will result in the transformation of our organizational culture.
Meanwhile, government has thrown its full support behind the new police commissioner. In endorsing Dr. Williams, National Security Minister Peter Bunting said government would be doing everything possible to ensure that the police force has the resources necessary to carry out its mandate. The National Security Ministry has already commissioned a strategic review and restructuring of the deployment of resources within the JCF,
which will help inform the Commissioner on the optimization of available assets by reviewing the deployment of vehicles, personnel, and the location of police stations or police posts.
Minister Bunting also reminded the new police commissioner that the security of citizens should be a top priority for the police force.
So even our language must be less about crime fighting and more about service, public safety, public order, and partnership.
And the branch of the JCF responsible for stamping out corruption has had marked success in this area. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA, is reporting that since January, 27 civilians and 31 police have been arrested for corruption. Another 600 persons have been arrested for breaches of the Lottery Scam Act. MOCA's Director General, Colonel Desmond Edwards, told JIS News that his agency is committed and focused on ridding the country of corruption and is encouraging Jamaicans to call 1-800-CORRUPT to report suspected or known nefarious activities. In the meantime, Colonel Edwards says MOCA will be ramping up its community outreach initiatives.
So at every opportunity, we intend to engage the communities. And we're going to start as well with the children. You know, we already have discussed means and ways to get into communities to engage youngsters, engender and develop an anti-corruption culture from the youngest ages in our society.
In other news now, construction has started on a $170 million auditorium at the Woolmer's Boys School in Kingston, thanks to a partnership involving private sector input. The new building will replace the previous structure, which was destroyed by fire over a decade ago. In his address, Minister of Education Reverend Ronald Thwaites lauded the partnership as $127 million of the project sum was secured through support from past students and friends of the school.
This is the kind of partnership that will make us great as a nation. The education system, I say boldly and boldly, could never exist without the contribution of the alumni associations and the various partnerships that we forge in the system.
The auditorium, which is to accommodate 2,300 people, will have a theatrical stage, a mezzanine floor and meeting rooms, and will accommodate indoor courts for basketball and other sport. The school is still seeking assistance to come up with the $43 million to finish the auditorium, scheduled for completion in April 2015. And finally, Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson has endorsed a $250,000 donation to the Lupus Foundation of Jamaica, calling it an opportunity to bolster support and increase awareness of the autoimmune disease in the country.
What is taking place this morning is not just a gift of $250,000 to the Lupus Foundation, but it really represents an opportunity to lift the profile of this disease and to continue the public education, which is so important for us as a country.
The donation made by the Wysinco Group is also expected to help the foundation's research efforts, as lupus tends to mimic other diseases.
Wysinco is pleased to do anything it can to help raise the public awareness of this often life-threatening illness and to help those with lupus learn how to manage their condition.
Lupus causes the immune system to become overactive, producing antibodies which damage normal healthy cells. Statistics show that lupus affects approximately 1 in every 250 to 300 Jamaican women. The Wysinco Group also used the ceremony to hand over 300 cases of drinking water to the Kingston Public, Victoria Jubilee and Spanish Town hospitals. And that's it for GIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
Householders, business people, school administrators, protect yourself and your children from the chikungunya virus. Be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Chikungunya is a virus transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which breeds in and around your home, workplace, and school. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET. And if you're experiencing symptoms of chikungunya, a sudden high fever, headache, rash, nausea, pain, stiffness, or severe joint pains, see your doctor or go to the nearest health center.
School feeding programs benefit more than just the students who get good nutritious meals during the school day. Across the world, they promote food and nutrition security through their far-reaching impact on households. Countries like Brazil have had great success in this area, and so government has struck a deal to learn more about their successes and how to translate that into better educational outcomes and a healthier population. Get the facts on that initiative now.
Picnic can learn pan hungry belly.
A Jamaican adage that rings true. And that's why government is moving to further strengthen Jamaica's school feeding program.
We're spending $4 billion a year for school feeding. We have studies to indicate that about 30%, particularly of our early childhood cohort, yes, come to school hungry every day. And that another 20% come to school hungry intermittently, depending on the ebb and flow of family income. If we face that reality, we simply can't go on doing that which we are accustomed to do, which is essentially, I bowdlerize to make the point, but essentially a cheese tricks and bag juice culture. Yes, we can't continue that. We have to make a change.
And so, the Ministries of Education, Agriculture and Health have teamed up with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, to create an integrated school feeding project using a successful Brazilian model. Beyond its rich tradition of football, Brazil has developed a reputation for having one of the most successful school feeding programs in the world. The program, which was created more than 50 years ago, currently provides nutritious meals to more than 45 million children all over the country, managing at the same time to integrate public policies with other sectors within the government.
Under this partnership, Brazil is sharing with us their good practices in school feeding, and one of those is the delivery of a 6-week comprehensive training course.
This morning, when I woke up, I had breakfast. Isn't fantastic? And I left to work. So I may work because I had breakfast. So if we think about school feeding, how necessary it is to make sure kids eat. And now Brazil has this wonderful opportunity of bringing, with the support of FAO, to Jamaica, a brother country, our know-how in school feeding.
The course is entitled School Feeding, Development of a Sustainable Program using lessons from the Brazilian experience. 45 Jamaicans have joined participants from St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda for the course, which began in September 2014. They will learn how to increase access to more affordable and nutritious meals, while ensuring that school feeding becomes a part of national policy and planning. Participants will also get a chance to see how Brazil integrates their school feeding program to create jobs for small farmers and improve educational outcomes.
A referência do Brasil hoje está na América Latina, Caribe e África.
Brazil is at present the reference point for this in Latin America and Africa and the Caribbean. And through the requests from these countries, we have some principles in this cooperation. In the first place, we know that we have made many advances and also many mistakes. So we are not a policy example. We're a good reference for discussion.
School feeding programs have been shown to have strategic relevance for promoting food and nutrition security through their broad impact in social protection across diverse sectors. They also impact on the implementation of public policies for the achievement of the human right to food. For these reasons, school feeding programs are therefore recommended as one of the major strategies for addressing long-term sustainable development.
Jamaica's Planning Institute of Jamaica, meanwhile, is playing a significant role in the implementation of this project by providing technical support. This interministerial action to strengthen the national school feeding program is seen as a strategic move as Jamaica forges ahead to adequately feed our nation's children and promote overall wellness.
The development of the country requires investments in many areas, including investments and improvement in the national health of the population. Many of the negative behavioral practices are developed in early childhood. We are in need of a major culture shift in order to really tackle the scourge of NCDs in Jamaica, which should start with our children.
The school feeding program provides our country with a platform for creating a win-win situation in which we can address the nutritional needs of our vulnerable school-age population by increasing the production and supply of fresh, local fruits and vegetables from our small farmers, and thus providing them in turn with a viable source of income.
This is exactly the kind of cooperation we need. This is exactly what we need for Jamaica.
The JIS will be having its first poster competition. And guess what? It's all about our heritage. The theme, We Are Free. All secondary level students are eligible to compete, and the posters can either be digitally designed or illustrated. The rules are simple. First, complete an entry form online from the JIS website. Posters will be judged on your interpretation of the topic, originality, neatness, and presentation. Digital posters should include only the images from a collection accessible on the JIS website. Posters should be no longer than 11 inches by 17 inches. All digital posters should be submitted electronically through a cloud storage service such as Dropbox, SkyDrive, or Google Drive, while illustrations must be taken into the head office or Montego Bay office. Posters should be submitted by Friday, October 31, 2014. Please ensure that you keep a copy of your poster after submission. Yes, there are going to be prizes and surprises for the top 3 students and the top participants. Just in case you need more details to be part of the fun, call JIS at 926-359024, extension 2137, or email heritageposter@jis.gov.jm. Don't delay, get started on your poster now.
God is good, God is great. Let us thank Him for our food. Amen. That's what we used to say when I was in primary school as soon as the lunch bell rang. Speaking of lunch, the government through the National School Feeding Program is ensuring access to nutritious and affordable meals.
The unmistakable Nutribun and milk. Sweet and tasty, nutritious and filling too. With so many wholesome options for them to choose from, parents can be comforted by the fact that in every public primary school, children have at least one healthy choice available to them.
I scream, you scream, we all scream.
So the bell has just gone and the children are rushing out to lunch. What will they have? Well, it depends. Some will simply eat what they like, others will have what they're accustomed to having at home, while others will simply eat what they can afford.
Sometimes I get $150, I buy a lunch list, and I save my bus fare so I can go home.
Most times, some kids come to school without lunch money, and their mother and father cannot afford to give them the money sometimes.
The Ministry of Education recognizes that effective learning is the sum of good instruction, parental support, and a wholesome, nutritious diet.
It is therefore committed to making lunchtime the meaningful break it ought to be for as many primary and basic school students as possible by supporting and enriching the school feeding programs in their schools.
The government sends us a stipend every term. We also supplement with the nutrition products. They send us milk, different flavored milk every week, so we use that.
The assistance by way of government is basically a loan we receive to expand the program, the breakfast and lunches in greater volume. And so we're able to share and to distribute at a faster rate.
When I eat it, I'm not going to be hungry again. And I get carbohydrates and proteins from it.
Hot nutrition food makes the students very relaxed and comfortable when they're in class and doing their work.
Talk about putting a pep in their step.
Together with their partners in agriculture, the Ministry of Education has introduced locally grown fruits and vegetables on the menu of the National School Feeding Program, making the scheme even more cost-effective and beneficial to students. But even as the Education Ministry cooks up new and better ways to feed the youngest and neediest among us, it continues to rely on a traditional staple to keep them filled and alert.
Sometimes we get bulla milk and we get the bun.
I've had the bun and it's very nourishing.
The government nutritional product is very nutritious and they give me a lot of ability and stamina.
Why not continue the trend at home? Let's create a chain of healthy eating. If you have not yet gotten into the act, do so now.
Stop! Think before you burn.
Cheese tricks and bag juice? Not the healthiest of options, as you heard our education minister say earlier. Parents, what are you doing to ensure your children eat healthy?
For one thing, I think we should change their menu. That's the first thing. I think kids are feeding too much on sweets. Kids are feeding too much on the unnecessary things like this whole heap meat kind and all that. So honestly, I think if we change their diet, first and foremost, start encouraging them to have more fruits in their diet, more vegetable, you understand? And us as parents should really cut down on this, this whole heap of juices that we're putting in their lunch kit and stuff like that, and start encouraging them to carry more water to school.
I am more looking for someone to help me in that aspect of it, because she's a very weird eater. She eats some of the weirdest things. She'll wake up in the morning and she wants French fries and nuggets for breakfast. For dinner, she would have the same thing. If I introduce some fruits or vegetable, it's a no-no for her.
Well, I believe if we get the children to help us to prepare the meal, that will motivate them to eat it, because they believe that whatever they prepare is tastier than what we prepare.
We can improve our children eating habits by changing up what they get for snacks each day. Like for most children like biscuits and all that, we can give them like a fruit day where we give them fruits and water for that day.
Trying to include a lot of fruits and other healthy foods is very important. I'm trying to stay away from the little sweets and the bag juice and so forth, and try to give the fruit juice and the milk where possible at most, and basically just offset what you would give them for lunch with a little fruit and stuff like that.
One of the things that you can do to improve the child's eating habit is like starting the morning early with fruits and giving them a healthy lunch. Like for my daughter, she gets her fruits, and for lunch, she always gets some vegetable in the lunch.
Well, I think one of the ways is start by teaching your child the importance of eating healthy, and help her to also identify foods that are good for her, and just try to introduce her to her diet and allow her to enjoy foods in every way possible.
And as our parents play their part, the government is making strategic moves to improve the nutrition value of the food offered in schools. Watch now as we check out what's on the menu.
Chicken, fried chicken. It's delicious and it's nutritious.
Come taste and learn. Today on School Zone, we explore the new pilot project by the Ministry of Education to standardize the new school feeding menu.
Good nutrition is very important for our students to learn. Very often when I'm going to work in the mornings, I see the children hustling off with a bag juice or with a cheese tricks or a biscuit, or they're drinking a cup soup, and all of those things that would never feature when I was growing up. Our Minister of Education, he wants to ensure that we are providing nutritious meals that will stimulate the learning of our students.
For the pilot in Region 1, it's Kingston and St. Andrew. Menus for regular school lunches have been designed and used for a 3-week cycle. So a cycle, 3 weeks. So there are days 1 to 5 for weeks 1 to 3. Then at the end of week 3, we start over again. There's also a 2-week cycle menu for students who are vegetarians.
The chicken is tasty. The entire meal is tasty. There's a lot of nutrition in it, a lot of protein and those things.
Very delicious. I think it's good, very good.
tofu rice. It's the first time tasting anything like this. It tastes very nice, and I think it will hold.
Tofu. It's alright. It tastes good. First when I eat it. Then I want it for serve at school.
Food was very nice and I love it and I may be eating it again.
We support the children of this school because most of the say we don't eat on a regular basis on it. So this is very good. It's a very good program.
And I think this is very good. I think it will enhance student performance.
Delicious.
Thank you very much. Oven fried chicken, tofu balls, spicy meats, just some of the exciting things on the menu for the Ministry of Education Pilot School Feeding Project. Tune in next time for more on School Zone.
If I could reach higher, just for one moment touch the sky.
On National Heroes Day, October 21, 2013, 179 Jamaicans were honored for their contribution to nation building. Veteran journalist, social communicator, newspaper columnist, these are among the many titles that Claire Forrester has held over her long and continuing career. It's a career that has taken her from the public to private sector, working with several media organizations, among them the Jamaica Information Service. Her public service has also included serving as media and communication consultant to the office of Jamaica's former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson. Claire Forrester's expertise has also been sought by regional bodies like the Caribbean Office of the Pan American Health Organization, for which she was a media and communication advisor. And until 2012, she was a lecturer at the Caribbean Institute of Media and Communications, CARIMAC.
Miss Claire Angela Forrester for Journalism, Media and Communications. The insignia will be received by her niece, Dr. Grace Rose.
Claire Forrester was awarded the Order of Distinction for Journalism, Media and Communications, not because of the many titles she's held, but rather the impact she's had on the profession and her dedication to the craft. The dedication which led her to becoming a founding member, General Secretary and consultant to the Association of Caribbean Media Workers, and which drove her to serve the Press Association of Jamaica, PAJ, for 12 years as Secretary. She was made a life member in 1997 and inducted into the association's Hall of Fame in 2012.
If I could reach higher, just for one moment.
And with that, we close the pages of today's magazine. Let's do all we can to ensure our children are well-fed and prepared to reach higher heights. Have questions or feedback? Email us, jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. And whenever you're online, please visit our website, jis.gov.jm, or link us on social media, Facebook or Twitter, for timely updates and information. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. See you next time.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.